Hi everybody, welcome to my basement. Never thought you'd be here, did you? Now that we're selling these shirts for the fight, $5 goes, every shirt that's sold, $5 of it will go to the Dr. Atlas Foundation, which I think you know a little bit about. Not going to go into it too much right now, but it's a foundation I've run for 22 years now that helps families in need, people that fall through the cracks. So if you buy some, like I said, $5 goes to the foundation. And thanks for your support of the show. And the reason we're here, and my hand is on a stack of shirts, is because I understand that you guys have been talking about my shirts. That, you know, you see I wear different shirts on the episodes. It's not an accident. Try to mix it up a little bit, be creative a little bit, artistic, if there's such a thing in the vocabulary of the living of Teddy Atlas. I don't know if there is, of being artistic, but to show you different shirts. So we figured bring you to the source. I'll start with the ones that are right in front of me. Some of them are quite old. I collect old stuff. I wear old stuff, but it's washed, it's clean. HBO, not in existence anymore. An oldie, but goodie. Michael Mora. I'm not going to throw this one down. He still means a lot to me. But this is when he fought for the world. Wow. Huh. You know what? And here's the back of it. I'm just refreshing my memory with you guys. Thanks for doing that for me. Appreciate it. I don't read German too well, but that means still champion. This must have been after we beat Axel Schultz for the second time that he won the title, after he lost to Foreman, and then we won a fight on HBO, and then we fought Axel Schultz in Germany, and he reclaimed the heavyweight title. Here's Olympic Game 1. My wife ain't gonna like it if I just leave these here, so the guys that are helping me with the cameras, they don't know it yet, but they're gonna help me fold these too. Right, fellas? Please, thank you. This is, which year is this? 2004. Olympics. I did 4 Olympic Games. This was one of them. Athens, back to the birthplace of the Olympics. So this was a good one. My second Olympics. My first one was in Sydney. So this is the second one in Athens. And the third one I did was Beijing and then London. Mayweather, the man, right? Gotta have a Mayweather one. You've seen him on the podcast. He has made his appearance. The money man.
They call me Money Mayweather for a reason. 50, where you at?
Holyfield, the warrior, the real deal. Whoever had a more true nickname, fight name, than the real deal? Seriously, think about it. Nobody. If he wasn't the real deal, who was? Who'd he fight over here? Tony. Even in pictures, he looks serious and a little angry. Good man, I like Tony. Great technical fighter, tremendous technical fighter. Let his weight go a little too high. That didn't help him, right? Fighting at 240, he did not belong at 240, but great fighter. Desert Storm, Team Bradley. Tremendous fighter, tremendous family, great family. Finally, Tyson Holyfield, right? Is it fair to say, I know there's Tyson lovers out there, but is it fair to say, you Tyson lovers out there, can you say it good enough? You remember this, right? You remember the result? Listen, I'm not mocking or taking cheap shots. I'm just saying, this was the fight that didn't happen the first time, right? Tyson got in trouble, went to jail, and unfortunate part, right, of his life, but finally did happen. Everyone thought Holyfield was shot. He wasn't. You know, the last thing to go, everyone says the last thing to go is your power, right? See, that's the good thing about doing this. The genius, Rob, who produces these things and allows me to do a podcast because he talked me into it, him and my daughter, is that it leads into conversation. It really does. And, you know, the last thing to go in a fighter, Holyfield was too old, he was supposed to be shot. They always say it's the power, right? I learned about that with George Foreman. But that's not the last thing to go. You know, the last thing that doesn't go, no matter how old you are, it's called character. They didn't count on that. It was still there. That was the difference in that fight. Great warrior. And Tyson, tremendous fighter, of course. I guess when you're the best defensive fighter of your era, you get to make 2 appearances. All right? Who's this against? Canelo. What do we think about in this one? What do we think about in this one? We think about 2 things, right? First of all, that a lot of people were surprised. They didn't think Mayweather could step up in weight and win that fight. Not that he'd only win. It was a whitewash. It was a shutout in baseball parlance, right? It was a shutout, except for one judge. One. Well, don't make me go there. Don't make me go there. Don't bring me there. They're calling me, they're yelling at me. Go there, go there. One terribly, terribly confused, either incompetent or corrupt, I don't know, judge that had it a draw, right? Majority decision. I mean, all right, we'll move on. Anyway, Mayweather won the fight. He was, Canelo, people said he was too slow. His hands weren't too slow. His feet were too slow. He couldn't close the gaps with Mayweather fast enough. That was it. That was the thing. Canelo has done great things since, of course. Well, Mayweather, Pacquiao. Got to give the Pac-Man. Hey, let me do it again. Pac-Man is on this, right? He doesn't take shadow to nobody. He doesn't stand in the back to nobody. 40 years old. He just beat Sturman? Yeah, Pacquiao. One of the great fighters. Great combination of speed and power. Don't ask me how he moved up all those weight classes. You Pacquiao people, take it easy. But I don't know how he moved up all those weight classes and stayed strong and looked like he grew somehow and didn't lose any speed. Didn't even lose power. I don't know how he did that. I don't know. Same way I keep these shirts in such good form. People could ask that question. Teddy, how do you keep 30-year-old shirts in good form? How do you? Good question. Good comeback. Beautiful. We'll move on. Pacquiao's great. Tremendous. Love him. Pac-Man. Tremendous person, too. Helping a lot of people. Corrales, God bless him, not with us anymore. Involved with Casamigos, one of the great Cuban fighters. That defected, came over here, became a world champion. Never would have got that chance in Cuba. It was a great country. Never would have got that chance over there. Got a chance to become a world champion, take care of his family. He was a tremendous fighter. And Corrales, you know that I slant a little towards the golden era, 1930s, 40s, 20s. I mean, you're never going to have that era again. Biggest sport in the country, boxing. And fighters that had 200, 300 fights. I mean, guys like Henry Armstrong had, 110 knockouts? I mean, come on, forget about it. Never going to have that era again. But there's great fighters from this era, too. I know it. But 2 of the greatest fights are from the modern era. Greatest fights that could fit in with 200 years of history of boxing. Corrales, when he fought Castillo, the first one.
Corrales coming back after being on the canvas twice here in the 10th. Now Castillo steps back. Corrales winging. Castillo's in trouble. Weak steps in, and the fight is over.
It might be the greatest fight of all time. Did you really say that, Teddy? It might be the greatest fight of all time. It's right up there with Mickey Ward, another one from the modern era. Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti, the first one. The first one's always better than the sequels. Same thing in the movies. We get it, except The Godfather. Godfather 2 is pretty damn freaking good. Where young De Niro becoming the Godfather when he killed his family and how he made his way up to, that was a good one.
Il padre si chiama Antonio Andolini e questo è Petit.
Povetkin, I trained him. We won the WBC title. Forget how many years ago that was. We won it over in Germany. Someday, if you have time, I'll tell you the story behind that one. A little crazy. That was a little crazy. That was a little rough. I had 3.5 weeks to get a guy ready who was in no shape at all for the heavyweight title. Don't ask me how I got myself into that predicament. Don't have time to explain it right now. Maybe someday. Hey, remember Johnson and Tarver? Two pretty damn good light heavyweights. They both beat Roy Jones. Wow. Johnson and Tarver. One of the great compliments you could give fighters in the old days. Now it's got to be over the top. You know, you got to come up with all kinds of extravagant things to say. It's got to be over the top. It don't count. But back in the old days, especially this guy, didn't have a great record. Not the greatest record. He had some losses. Didn't matter in the old days if you lost some fights. All that mattered was, could you fight? Could you fight? Could you compete with top guys? That's all that mattered. You know how to fight? In the old days, matter of fact, managers didn't worry about whether or not you had to win every fight. They worried about, was he going to learn? Was he going to get better? Because if he learned and he got better, he was going to be around for a long time. And he was going to fit into a lot of fights. Nowadays, they just worry about keeping him undefeated so we can get a payday, so we can get to television, we can get to that network, and we can say the guy's 16-0, he's 18-0, he's 19-0, he's 12-0. But back in the days, you know what the goal was back well, before this, but back in the old days, was just to give the guy what he needed to become a better fighter. How's that? How's that for a novel idea? Give him what he needs to be a better fighter, instead of what he needs to have an undefeated record. They never understood that to do that, in some ways, it's the antithesis of what a fighter really needs. Think about it. Give him just what he needs to stay undefeated, but don't give him what he needs to be a better fighter. Because by giving him just what he needs to stay undefeated, you're keeping away what he needs to be a better, more dependable fighter. But the greatest compliment I was about to say to you that you could give back in the old days, he was a solid guy. He was a solid fighter. He could fit in with anyone. Johnson was a solid fighter. Again, no crazy, things I can tell you and make up all these platitudes and all these, he was a solid fighter. And that was enough. And it was enough to beat one of the most talented fighters you're ever going to see, Roy Jones. Maybe Roy was a little bit going north on the other side of a little bit, but just a little bit. But Johnson beat him and Tarver beat him. And one other thing about Tarver, a lot of people don't know, one of the greatest amateurs we ever had. What else we got here? Oh, event, Super Bowl, but it was in boxing. Event. This gives him credit, both of them. You know what they get credit for? Well, he won't get credit for being a great boxer. He was a tremendous MMA guy, right? McGregor. But you know what he gets credit for? He gets in the category of Muhammad Ali. What? You lose your mind? Bad fumes in the basement? you lost your mind? You mentioned Conor McGregor with Muhammad Ali? Yeah. One of the greatest promoters you're ever going to see. Argue with me. Try to argue with me. One of the greatest promotion, genius. And him, we know what a great fighter, defensive wizard, but one of the great promoters too. Great manager. He always picks his fight pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. He knows how to pick the right fights. He knows how to fight, but he knows how to pick the right ones. But McGregor, yeah, he's in there with Ali as one of the greatest promoters of all time, as Ali would say. I better not get so loud. My wife is going to come down and she's going to throw you all out of here. All right, Olympics, again, Beijing this one. Beijing. Let me tell you something about Beijing. That Olympics, unbelievable. Unbelievable. What they did, the buildings they put up, the things they erected. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I don't think you're ever going to see another Olympics like that. I know it's not a favorite place to talk about, China, and it's not a favorite for me, the way they treat people, the human rights issues, all that kind of stuff. I'm with you. I got you. But as far as just purely talking about what we're talking about, putting on a show, wow. Winky Wright and Mosley. Remember these guys? Remember them? Winky Wright, covered up, good defensive fighter, hard to catch him clean with anything. Mosley, who was a lightweight, moved up, tremendous lightweight champion, tremendous amateur, Wow. That's going back. Melee at Mandalay. Remember you go to some of these European fighters, the English, the Irish, the great thing is when you go, the atmosphere is like going to a soccer game. They're singing, Remember this guy? Here we go, Hatton, here we go. Here we go, Ricky, here we go. Ricky Hatton. Castillo, talking about Castillo involved in one of the greatest fights, maybe the greatest fight of all time. We talked about it before with Corrales. Ricky Hatton, junior welterweight champ, right? He beat Casasu, made him quit. People forget about that. Is that extraordinary? I mean, and no one's going to say Ricky Hatton was one of the greatest fighters of all time, but a tough guy, rounded his time, the right time, and did pretty good for that section of time. For that period, we all only have our periods of time. Some are greater, longer. That's the special ones. But he had his little section, his little period, and he had a lot of backing, a lot of fans loving him. And he, like I said, he had a lot of singing at his fights. Here we go, Ricky, here we go. Hear it now. Got shut off kind of quick when he fought Pacquiao. Not for nothing, it was kind of like, tip. But he did pretty damn good. I love Floyd, so I gotta show him Floyd. Floyd, you're all over the place, and he's got good t-shirts. That's pretty nice. Madonna. Remember Madonna? The first one was closer than people thought. Second one, not as close, not as good. But the first one, everybody thought Madonna, whop, pop, pop, wide punches, no shot. No shot against Floyd. But he surprised people. He won rounds. He made it competitive. Madonna was better than he got credit for. Yeah, he was, the funny thing was with Floyd, when you're a scientist, a genius, like Floyd, defensive genius, you're better with the guys that are technical too. Because the technical guys, they're not going to be more technical than you. You're a genius. So, you're not going to win a chess match with Floyd. But when you bum rush him a little bit, and sometimes he's too in love with his defense, a little intoxicated. I know Floyd doesn't drink, but I'm just saying, you get a little intoxicated with your own genius, with your own defense, and you're moving, and you got a guy who's a windmill, and he's not thinking as much, or at least he's not standing there and playing chess with you. Bang, 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 he's just bang, 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 he's just throwing it. Well, you're gonna win some rounds. Somewhere along the line in the fight, he's gonna make a mistake. Pacquiao fans, there he is. Foreman, at 45 years of age, he beat my guy.